Okay, I made a few videos of this guy before. This is the E-Flite. I think it's called E-Flite. It's a horizon of it anyway, PT-17. As I noted before, I've done some cosmetic mods on it. I painted the fake motor here at the fake engine. That's just black when it comes. I painted it to make it look a little more interesting, and I changed the propeller out for a wooden propeller. Again, just for appearance. I believe it flies fine like that. I have flown it with this arrangement before. I hope I've got the right model selected in my DX9 for it. It says PT-17, and I'm assuming this is it. I've also got the micro PT-17, but now would say micro. That one's almost had it. I think it's just, you know, the old little one-cell blue PT-17 that E-Flite had, and I think on mine, I think, you know, it's a one-cell brushed motor, and I think the motor's about burnt out. It doesn't, it still turns, but it has no power anymore. Not this thing, I'm talking about the micro one. Anyway, so we'll connect this up and see if everything's working. I've got the battery as far forward as I can because this thing balances way too far to the tail anyway out of the box. I've actually got lead in the front as well to move the center of gravity forward. I think pretty much everybody finds that they want to move the center of gravity forward on this. Didn't have my throttle. Well, I've got throttle cut on now, so. Okay, so that should be okay. Right, left, up, down. Right, left. I notice it's trimmed down somewhat, but I think that's probably deliberate because it still has a tendency to go up somewhat. I think I put that down trim in on purpose. I don't think that's an accident, so I'm not going to take it out for now. Okay. Now, I was also going to try and take a flight video with this little SQ11 camera. Yeah, this is a weird camera. Whoever designed the interface of this thing had a strange mind, I have to say. It's like really weird. It only has two buttons, which they refer to as power and mode, and they have the symbol on them. It's like a power symbol, an M. The big problem with this camera, it has one light that can glow red, blue, or red and blue together. The big problem with this camera is it looks exactly the same when it's shooting video or in motion detect mode as it does when it's off. So you don't really know, is it off, is it shooting, what? And to start it shooting, you don't have a separate shutter button to press, you have to press the power button. Now you think pressing the power button when it's on would turn it off, but no it doesn't. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Hopefully I charged it, so we'll see. So supposedly, there we go, if I press and hold the power button, that makes it come on and they get blue light, which means it's in 720 pixel mode. Now supposedly, if I briefly press the power button, that should start it recording. We live in hopes. Yeah, and the light goes out, and you'd think it was off, but I don't think it's off, I think it's recording. We'll see. I find it frankly perverse to design the interface like that. I mean, you should have some indicator so you can tell whether the thing is recording or not.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
Make doubly sure we got throttle cut on and we can take the plane out to the runway. No flaps on this guy. Don't think he really needs them. No wind, so really no wind. I can't see any at all, so it should not make any difference which way we take off. The rudder's already trimmed as far to the left as it will go. I hope that's not going to be a problem.
Throttle cut off.
Whoa. I suppose maybe I should just put full power on to take planes off. I don't tend to, though. I tend to run the power up and try and see how much power I need to take them off. I don't just ram the power right up to full right off. But I ended up putting the power up pretty much to full power there because it wasn't leaping into the air. Well, some planes will, like the Timber, short takeoff and landing planes, things like the Timber, will just leap into the air as soon as you give them a tiny bit of power. In fact, with the Timber, it's hard to taxi it without it taking off. It tends to want to take off all the time because it's got so much lift. This is not quite like that. It's a bit heavy and...
AS3X mode. Time remaining 6 minutes.
Again, I haven't flown this since last year. You should fly things more often because you don't remember what a plane is like unless you fly it reasonably often. So every flight is like a maiden flight, kind of. Because well, it's not as bad as the maiden flight because I remember the maiden flight of this, the thing was ridiculously tail heavy. I had to keep mucking around. It was not a pleasant maiden flight, really. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't a pleasant maiden flight because it was very tail heavy out of the box. But now it's got an ounce or so, actually a bit more than an ounce, I think about an ounce and a quarter of lead in the nose in the battery compartment. And
time remaining 5 minutes.
It's got about an ounce and a quarter of lead in the battery compartment, and it's got some down trim on it. And it flies pretty levelly now. I was talking to another club member, to Don, the other day, and he was saying what he did with his. It has an aluminium prop spinner on the front, a big hunk of aluminium, but just aluminium. He replaced that with a big steel nut. He found a steel nut with the same thread on, and that gave the extra weight that he needed. Not bad. Not very neat, but not too bad. That gave the extra weight, rather than having to actually put lead inside, he just put that extra heavy balance nut on. And so long as it's right in the middle and everything should be fine. Of course, obviously you've got to be a bit careful putting weight on like that because it's going to be spinning. So if there's if it's not, the weight isn't centered, you could get vibration because you're spinning a heavy weight there. That's the only thing I'd be a bit leery about in terms of putting a heavy nut on the front. But so long as it's centered, and it's not far out from the axis anyway, it should be fine. I'm not going to do anything wildly foolish here. Not really. Not that I ever do much. As if you've watched any of these things, you know I'm not an aerobatic pilot at all. I'm just a plane enthusiast and a scale flyer, really. This is a very interesting real plane. Of course, it was a trainer. I went the wrong way there. That was not quite what I was trying to do. I was trying to correct. It worked okay. It didn't do any harm. But I was trying to... I misjudged. I was trying to correct to get a straight Immelman turn, and I got the exact reverse. I got a Immelman turn with a 90-degree turn, which was not what I was trying to get. I guess because I wasn't allowing for the fact I was going to be upside down. Oh, I don't know. I'm just confusing myself here. I never could fly upside down worth a damn. I can fly towards me and away from me. I can fly helicopters, but upside down, I cannot bloody fly upside down. For the life of me. What are we doing time-wise here?
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. One more and then I'm going to bring it in. That's the way. Okay, that'll do. I'm gonna bring it in. Okay, so there you go. I'm forgetting everything. On an Immelman turn, you want to, the ailerons want to go one way and the rudder wants to go the opposite way. To get a relatively neat Immelman turn. Where are we here? God. Still not that light, and you know, it can be hard to perceive where the thing's going. It's not easy to see the orientation of the plane there. I can see the undercarriage now, which helps. But it's not easy to see the orientation of the plane. Somebody walking there, but I don't think it's anything to do with us. There you go. Can't complain about that as a landing, really, can you?
Throttle cut off.
Well, I'm quite pleased with that. I hope this camera was working, but who knows. So if it is working, then pressing it briefly should make it go back into standby mode. Yes, that looks good. That's what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to go back into standby mode when you press the little button there, the power button. But it's really both the power, it doubles as both the power button and the shutter button. So we'll see. We went down fairly far there. We'll check out the battery consumption there, but hopefully the flight video worked. Okay, so my timer on my DX9 read 1.07 from an initial setting of 7 minutes. So we had just under 6 minutes of flight time. This is with a Gensace 2200 milliamp hour. And what are we looking at? 11.4, 3.78, 3.8, 3.81. So that's, I don't like running batteries a lot lower than that. You know. So that's about right, you know. Well, I got the time. You could have taken the extra minute. I mean, you wouldn't want to go over the 7. I wouldn't want to go over the 7 minutes though. But I wouldn't want to go over the 7 minutes. But otherwise, you know, yeah, I think the timer's set about right, because that's normally what I do. Is, you know, once the plane says I've got 2 minutes left, I want to be thinking about coming into land. That gives me an extra minute if I need to make another pass round or whatever. So there you go, E-Flite PT-17. That was bought as a bind and fly, so it's got the, you know, the E-Flite receiver in it. I like those. I like the undercarriage. Nice looking undercarriage. Looks very scale and actually works well on the grass, which is, you know, not too many planes you can say that about. There's planes with good looking scale undercarriages. There's planes with undercarriages that work well on the grass, but it's this one's a little unusual in that it is good looking and works well on the grass.